what we did. We came out with a passion, with a fire, and I think, in the end we just wore them down, and we were able to hold them off, as best we could. So, we were happy with it.
Riley, you were in the backfield on that Mariota escape last year and the shovel pass.
Mm-hmm.
How big a difference is it when you can get the quarterback down every once in a while?
Yeah, it makes a difference. But that guy was a player today. He was a great quarterback. He was tough to get down. But Mariota last year was just he was special. This year, going to this game, we talked about gang tackling, getting guys, and not missing tackles and wrapping the quarterback up. I think for the most part we did a pretty good job with that today. So we're happy with that. There's still things we got to get better at, but we're content with the win.
What was the mood the last two drives that came down, that long drive and scored? You guys hold them off at the end. What was going on in the huddle, the sideline? What was the intensity like?
As a defense, that's what we love. We love, it being put on our shoulders at the end of the game. That's what we live for. That's what we practice for year-round. And I knew guys were going to step up and make plays in the end, which they did. I knew our offense was going to give us enough, firepower and points to win, and that's what happened. So it was great.
Riley, I don't know if you saw this well, but it looked like Edmondson was tipped up to blitz right at the last minute on that third down. I'm talking about the sack.
Yep.
How fast, how tough is it to get those calls in like that, to make a play like that?
Yeah, it's tough, and you practice it all week. The game's obviously different. A lot of things are going on, but I think for the most part tonight our communication, was pretty good. A couple of those blitzes came in last minute, but, as a player, as a linebacker especially, you got to get those calls in. I think for the most part we did that.
And that's always coming from them? It's not like you out there?
It's coming from the coaches, yep.
The coaches.
There's certain calls we have to make from those calls that we get, but they're coming in to us.
How big was that play with Fry and LT?
Huge. It was huge. I went up to Chris after. I was like, that was your fourth quarter. You made that with that sack. So I just congratulated him. I think he played a great game. I think a lot of guys played great. So, once again, we're just happy.
You said that was your what? You told Fry that was his what?
That was his fourth quarter.
What do you mean by that?
Just because I feel like that sack was so important. There was a lot of things going on. We needed to make a play. And he came out big out of blitz. LT, I think it was LT, almost got him first. Then Chris came in and just finished it, so that was crucial.
Until the final drive, the offense answered every time. What does that do for you guys when they're literally answering all three touchdowns and scores of their own?
Right. It feels good for us. We go against that offense enough that we know how good they are and how great they can be. So it's not a surprise for us, for our offense to play good, to score touchdowns. That's what we expect out of them.
It's something that didn't always happen last year in these
Right.
games, right?
Right, yeah, yep. We just have confidence in them, and, they went out and made some plays, put 31 points up to get the win.
What's it mean to you?